UFC 322 JDM versus Makhachev at Madison Square Garden just took place. I'm going to break down this card starting with Vyacheslav Borishev versus Mateus Camelo. Mateus Camelo gets the dub. I didn't even see the fight, but I knew that Vyacheslav was just straight dog ass. He lost to Chase Hooper, got dropped by Chase Hooper. I just knew that you were a terrible fighter from that point. Next up, Baisengur Susakayev versus Eric Makoniko. I did not see this as well. He got a third round KO / TKO, so could have been exciting. Next, Pat Sabatini versus Shepe Mariscal. I didn't even see this. I didn't see this, but I got this pick wrong. Kyle Dawkins versus Gerald Meerschaert. GM3, you're terrible, dude. I knew this was happening. I got that pick right. I didn't see it. Alright, to the fight that I actually saw. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethan Ewing. Ethan Ewing outstruck Malcolm Wellmaker and mixed it up as well. I don't know if he got takedowns on him, but I knew that he mixed it up on him. And he overall outstruck Malcolm Wellmaker. He might have rocked him at times, but he definitely stunned him at times. He got the better of the striking throughout the entire fight. Malcolm Wellmaker just couldn't throw as much. And even though he was hitting some good shots, just wasn't enough. Ethan Ewing clearly won. And yeah, not much to really say. Malcolm Wellmaker just... I mean, it's good to have one of these performances at some point, but yeah. Ethan Ewing comes up on short notice and beats Malcolm Wellmaker. Good fight. Good fight, actually. And a good one. And Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. Roman Kopylov does exactly what he did against Paulo Costa. And for the exact same reasons why I picked Gregory Rodriguez, he won that fight due to those reasons. Roman Kopylov just needs to throw more. He's pretty crisp at points. He's pretty powerful at points. He had some good shots on RoboCop at times, but those were few and far between from the utter domination that Gregory Rodriguez had in those first two rounds. And it's a clear win. Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. Bo Nickel pieces up Rodolfo Vieira throughout the entire fight, takes him down as well. Just utter domination throughout the entire fight. And in the third round, he head kick KOs Rodolfo Vieira, walk-offs KOs him, and it was a devastating knockout. No follow-up shots needed. Bo Nickel dominates him and then finishes him spectacularly. That's what you want to see coming from a bounce-back fight. And maybe the narratives were wrong about Bo Nickel. Maybe it was just a bad time against a tough opponent. But Bo Nickel gets this one done in fantastic fashion. I didn't get to have the audio for this KO, but my reaction was pretty surprised because that was a wild KO. Reminded me of the Quillin Southkill KO. And yeah, great win from Bo Nickel. And onto the main card, Benoit Saint-Denis KOs Beneil Dariush in 16 seconds. Beneil clearly had a very rough weight cut, had no chin at all in this fight. He kicks Benoit's legs, which makes Benoit slip, but he gets right back up and immediately Benoit grabs him and Beneil puts him in a tie clinch, and Benoit just uppercutting him, and then on a left hook that doesn't land. It doesn't land like how you would think a one-shot KO just boom would go in like 15 seconds. It smacks Beneil on the side of his jaw. True. But it wasn't like a land that seemed like it should have resulted in such a brutal face planting KO, which is what happened. He face planted, and then Beneil had one follow up shot, and immediately Beneil just flattens out and is gone, like flatlined. Very, very weird. Beneil clearly had no chin from the weight cut that he failed to make, and Benoit gets a good performance, I guess. He still will never be shit in the lightweight division. That's a fact. Will not be shit. But for this fight, good win. Good win from Benoit. Next up, and that was a devastating KO, by the way. It was pretty exciting. And speaking of exciting and devastating KOs, God, Carlos Prates just brought me some dopamine just thinking about this fight. Carlos Prates KOs Leon Edwards, flatlines his ass in round 2. Round 1, it's sort of a tit-for-tat striking battle. Leon Edwards does mix it up and presses him against the cage for like 1 or 2 minutes towards the end, and the entire time Carlos Prates is talking to him. They're talking to each other, and that's the end of the first. Carlos probably edged it out, I don't even remember. But in the second round, Carlos comes out, and they exchange, and it gets to the point where Carlos throws a straight left down the pipe, tags Leon on the button of the chin, and Leon just looks like he got hit with a fucking Hadouken. He fucking flies back, and he falls on his back. He's looking up, and he's smiling like he did not get his marbles rattled around in his brain, and he's smiling at the follow-up punch that eventually flatlines him completely. But he's still like smiling or whatever. But like that follow-up shot sealed it, and we got Carlos Prates being the first one to knock out Leon Edwards. Insane knockout. Carlos Prates always entertaining throughout his fights. I wish we could have a full card full of Carlos Prates fights. If only we had welterweights as exciting as Carlos Prates. We will get to the main event. Tough loss for Leon Edwards. He's on a downward slope, a bad one at that, with this one being his toughest loss so far. He gets knocked out by Carlos Prates at MSG. Where do you go from here if you're Leon Edwards? If you're Carlos Prates, you're on top of the world right now, and you should be looking towards the man above you, Michael Morales, or someone else. But amazing win from Carlos Prates. I want to see more of him. He's such a good character. He knows what the people want, and he gives it to us. Carlos Prates becoming an ever more favorite of mine by knocking out Leon Edwards in this fight. I was scared for Carlos. I thought Carlos Prates could have gotten knocked out himself, because as I mentioned, Carlos Prates takes punches really weird, and at times I am scared of his chin. But when you're knocking people out before they knock you out, who cares? But Carlos Prates gets this one done. Amazing striker, man. Amazing striker. You gotta blast a double leg on this dude. You got to. It's Guru mentioned this in their stream, but it's kind of like the same thing as Pereira. Just a guy that walks motherfuckers down, KOs them, and if you don't have any adversity for him, you're gonna end up like everyone else, just flat on the canvas at some point. Alright, next up, Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. Michael Morales TKOs Sean Brady in the first round. Started off as it was competitive, but you could tell that Sean Brady was sort of a sitting duck on the feet. And I noticed this throughout his fights that his striking's alright, but I don't know if it's top welterweight level, top championship level, where if you have an answer for his grappling and he can't get to that immediately, which he did get to Michael Morales, he did get him on the ground, but he wasn't able to really put it together and keep him on the ground and get off damage and get off submission attempts. Michael Morales got back up, and I mean, he's so big compared to Sean Brady. So big for the welterweight division in general. And he got back up, and he was just winning the striking exchanges by quite a bit margin. And then eventually he just put together a good combination that sat Sean Brady down, and he finished him. I don't exactly know what it was that finished Sean Brady, but I know that Michael Morales just put a combination on him, a mean one at that, and it dropped Sean Brady, and he TKO'd him right there. So, good win for Michael Morales. He's undefeated. He's getting finishes on people. He's looking impressive. Has been doing well against the higher level of competition in the welterweight division. I'd like to see more of him. He's exciting. If you're Sean Brady, it's a tough one, honestly. But it's okay still. Like, it's Michael Morales. You're gonna still be in the rankings. Just, you gotta try to look for a different matchup. Michael Morales, really good win. Calling for the belt and stuff. I don't know. I didn't stick around to hear Islam's speech, so I don't know if he's sticking around in the welterweight division. But I mean, Michael Morales, you gotta think, give him a title eliminator or something close to that. Great win. And that was the end of entertainment for this card, unfortunately, folks. Valentina Shevchenko beat Zhang Weili. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I only picked this fight because I thought it was going to be maybe the only few women's fights that could have been entertaining. I thought Zhang Weili was going to win this fight, just based off of the fact that she out-physicalities every one of her opponents, outpowers them, outdoes them in every aspect. But I guess the weight classes sort of matter a little bit more. And Valentina Shevchenko was just taller and bigger. That's it. That's what won her this fight. And I will give her this. She outstruck Zhang Weili. She did. But let me tell you, there weren't much strikes in general. So, I mean, it's like 14 strikes to 9 maybe. I don't fucking know. I would like to actually see what these strike numbers were. Wow. They gotta be adding the pitter-pat shots on the ground. But honestly, Valentina, she didn't really do much Um, I don't want to be too hard and a hater. Like, there were times where she did damage and good damage and outstruck Zhang Wei Li and was better than Zhang Wei Li. But that was not entertaining. Like, millions of dollars for this. I'm glad I didn't. Dude, I am so glad that I did not pay a single dime for this card. Holy shit. I feel like I got robbed. And I didn't pay anything for this shit, dude. Good win from Valentina. I honestly don't give a fuck what they do with either of them. Zhang, just retire. You've made millions. I don't know. Next up, though, to the main event, Islam Makhachev beats Jack Della Maddalena. Unanimous decision, 50-45. And this was literally less entertaining than Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. I swear to you, there were more significant and damaging strikes in Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili than there was in Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Islam did more ground control than Valentina, arguably, and less damage. Like, as I mentioned with Valentina, there were times that he would get the best of the striking and do damaging stuff, which I don't even know if he overall did more damage in the striking than Jack. But Islam's control, wet blanketing, won him this fight. I mean, he took a page out of Jailton Almeida, Hamzat Chimaev's book. I mean, just write out the book, man. Just lay on top of him, throw enough shots to keep it on the ground. Dude, that was so disappointing, man. Like, bias aside, genuinely bias aside, that killed all of the hype of this card. Like, I got happy thinking about Carlos Prates knocking out Leon Edwards, and I was hype. Going into these. But Islam, Valentina, they killed the hype. They bore me. Like, even in the first Volk fight, Islam's like holding on to the back of Volk to win that first round, or like third or whatever it was, where Volk's punching him from behind and just like yelling at him while the crowd is cheering them on, while Islam's just holding on for dear life on Volk's back, on featherweight Volk's back, which in hindsight, dude, 25-pound difference and Volk does better, bro? I don't know, man. I don't know. I picked Jack because I saw the Dustin Poirier fight. I saw Dustin Poirier who has a like plastic hip or some shit. I saw him fucking pull his hips and knees away from Islam's grasp as he was holding on for dear life again, just like as he was in this fight. And I thought, a younger, more in shape, just better conditioned fighter at the time, more in his prime, is going to do better than Dustin Poirier, who gave Islam several different problems. And there was this one moment where Jack just lets off a combination body head to Islam, and I'm thinking, oh my god, we might see something exciting. But how wrong I was, honestly. how wrong I was to think that for any double champ fight in 2025, we could experience entertainment. How foolish of me to think that. I get Valentina and Islam have such a big fan base, but I don't get it, and I feel bad for them, because I think they're mindless lobotomites that just don't even know what they are watching. Like, Bo Nickel, Michael Morales, Carlos Prates, Malcolm Wellmaker, Ethan Ewing. Ethan Ewing put on more entertainment than Islam Makhachev. Holy shit. I mean, if you are fans of these guys, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I am so done. I hope Islam and Valentina retire. I do not care if Islam retires without a loss. Again, because he did get knocked out before in his UFC career. But I would not care in the slightest if Islam and Valentina retired this very day, because it would mean that I just get a little bit more entertainment. But real talk, is Islam the GOAT? I don't know. Volk twice, Dustin Poirier, Renato Moicano, Charles Oliveira, JDM, Drew Dober, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green. I don't know. I really don't know. He could be the GOAT, but I can't even be bothered to bring his name up in the conversation, because any other double champ, any other person in the GOAT conversation does more exciting shit than this. Like, this really left a sour taste in my mouth for any image of Islam Makhachev that I could have. So, I don't give a fuck if he's the GOAT or not. In my eyes, he's not even in the conversation, because GOATs are at least entertaining. I don't know, man. I just can't give any respect to the wet blankets. I can't. I just can't give that kind of respect. But it's cool. We didn't get the happy ending, and we can't expect it. The MMA world and the MMA gods are too cruel to let us live in complete entertainment and peace and happiness with these outcomes. Holy shit. But at least at times we get entertainment. So that's it. UFC 322. Did you enjoy it? I enjoyed some of it. Good wins from... Fuck, I can't even be bothered, man.